What's going on, everyone? It's David Barnett of the Tour Junkies. I got Pat Perry, who is also of the Tour Junkies, with me, and it is after dark. It's very dark. You can't tell from behind me, but believe it or not, this is fake. It's very dark, and it is TJ After Dark, presented by our friends at DraftKings, the best place to go for PGA DFS, which you may or may not know, because you're probably watching a lot of NFL right now, is actually going on. We had a 2-week break, dose weeks break, and now we are back.
Not a lot of break.
Huh?
I'm glad to be back.
Yeah, I'm actually happy. I'm looking forward to this. We're going to talk about the Greenbrier. Yeah. We're going to talk about a military tribute at the Greenbrier in West Virginia at the course named after you, Old White TPC.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm glad to have a course named after me. I felt like it was going to happen one of these days, and it finally happened. So, yeah, we're at the Old White TPC course this week. Yeah, it's a big breakthrough. It's a good course, though. You know, I mean, they did some renovations back in after the 2016 floods, which, look, they were terrible floods. And
R.I.P.
So, it's good. It's good to be back on this course, and the Old White TPC
Old
course.
White.
Bent grass.
What?
Do you need me to tell you about the course or not? Or are you just going to talk?
Before you do, we are going to get into a couple picks that we disagreed on in the podcast. We just recorded the podcast. We disagreed on a couple guys. We're going to talk through that, and then we're going to talk through our favorite bets on the old DK Sportsbook, if you know what I mean. But yeah, also podcast juice / TJ After Dark juice. I am drinking an unnamed vodka because we are not going to give free advertisements. And LaCroix, which I guess is an advertisement, and a little bit of peach schnapps. What are you drinking, Patrick?
So you just went from I'm not giving an advertisement to I will give an advertisement. And I'm just going to give an advertisement to rosé, which is what I'm drinking right now. Very excited about it. So, yeah.
All right, well, we're 3.5 minutes in, which means that some knuckleheads on YouTube are going to be going, oh, you guys just sit around and you say stupid stuff for the first couple minutes. You don't even get into the pick.
And you just drink alcohol.
All you do is talk about dumb stuff those first couple minutes. All right, anyway. Go ahead, Pat. Why don't you hit us with the? Go ahead, Pat. Why don't you hit us with the course?
So yeah, so this is a good course this week. You know, this is one of your classic courses that you'll see on tour. Tree line fairways. They did redo it after the floods in 2016, where they had to cancel the tournament. But other than having to re-sod and reseed and whatever else, the entire course is pretty much the same. It doesn't play that much different. You've got bent grass greens, you've got bent grass fairways, Kentucky bluegrass, rough. These greens are very contoured, though. They're playing pretty quick. This is a course where, look, here's the thing that's key. I think you need to know. We're at elevation here. We're in the mountains of West Virginia. So your shorter hitters are going to be able to hit the ball further than you think. So don't just rule them out. I mean, look at past champs like Kevin Na, Danny Lee, Angel Cabrera in 2014. This is not, even though it plays about 7,300 yards, it's not a bomber's course per se that you're really just going to take all those guys that can hit it out there. So
I mean, Cabrera's a bomber. Okay.
I don't know. Cabrera's...
Dude, Cabrera freaking mashes it. Yeah, he's old now, but he wasn't that old. He mashes it. Anyway, I get what you're saying, but Cabrera's a bomber.
Doesn't mash it, neither does Kevin Na.
El Pato's a bomber.
Yeah, anyway, so, look, here's another thing to be wary of or excited about, and that is that this is a full field event where top 65 in ties make it through the cut. That is important to know because that is a new thing for the 2020 season, which we're in, even though it's 2019, drives me crazy, but this is the 2020 season. T65 and ties make it through the cut. no MDF, so you don't have to worry about that stupid MDF deal that pisses everybody off, and nobody understands either. We get questions about that all the freaking time.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's it.
Yeah, I think that top 60.
Let's get into place.
Huh? What? That top 65 and ties thing's a big deal. You gotta take note of that. Hey, listen, I don't really care about a lot of stats this week. I think it's ridiculous, right? Like, you want to get ownership leverage. You got to have some guys make the cut, just like every other golf tournament on DraftKings where you pick 6 players. You got to have 6 make the cut. Only the top 65 and ties are doing so, as Pat mentioned. It is wide open. I think this depends on guys who keep it in the fairway, which is easy to do. These fairways are wide. And guys who hit it close and make some putts. And you got to be able to putt on bent grass. I think that's a thing. I'm looking at guys who putt well on bent grass over the last 100 rounds of golf on the PGA Tour. I'm looking at a little bit of course history. Form is tough at this point of the season. Some of these guys haven't played in 3 or 4, 5, 6 weeks. Some of these guys are brand new right off the old KORN FERRY Tour, or AKA Web.com Tour. They're itching to get in the action of the PGA Tour. By the way, 3 of your last 5 winners at this golf tournament have been at 100-1 or longer odds to win. So you can definitely have new KORN FERRY boys come up here and win this thing, or long shots win at the Greenbrier. It is definitely possible. We'll get into some of our DK Sportsbook plays later. I said layer. Layer. Pat, but before we get into those DK Sportsbook plays, I'm going to talk about a guy that you picked on the podcast that I think is a terrible selection. He is 105th out of 100 and a few more in this field. He's 105th in strokes gained putting on bent grass over the last 100 rounds. Okay? Now, he does have a good course history, but he's also $10,000, and his name is Bubba Watson. You would think we're in West Virginia. A guy named Bubba should be doing pretty good. It's a home game for Bubba. Why? Because he's from West Virginia. Or he's not from West Virginia, but he fits in really well with West Virginia. He's a redneck. And he has a house here at the Greenbrier. And I know you're going to say, hey, he's got a house here. It's a home game. He plays well here. But guess what? Bubba can't putt, and Bubba has been all over the map. So also at $10,000 on DraftKings, I'm not willing to pay that price for Bubba. I'm just not. So convince me otherwise.
Well, first off, here's the first thing. He is going to be very low owned because
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. He's a big name.
Why?
He's a big name.
Why not?
Because it's NFL. Everybody's thinking about the NFL. So you're going to have some random little guy who's an NFL guy who's like, oh, PJ, oh, look, I won some money on Showdown on Monday night. So I'm going to sprinkle a little play onto this whole PGA thing. Oh, wait a minute, Bubba Watson. I recognize Bubba Watson. I'm going to play him.
I would bet you that he is not going to be very high owned.
What do you think is high owned? You're awesome at predicting ownership, so let's get this.
At 10,000, I think he is less than 10%.
I will take that bet. I bet he is above 10%.
Okay, I'm just saying I bet he's less than 10% owned. He lives here, whatever, that's fine. But here's the deal with Bubba Watson. I do not care about form, whatever else. When he is on a course that he is typically comfortable on, he always plays well. We've seen that in every single one of his victories. To say he doesn't putt well on bent grass is confusing.
Well, he doesn't.
And maybe you're just... Well, okay, so he's won the Masters twice on bent grass.
Great.
Greens.
I mean, but how long ago was it that he won the Masters?
I don't care. That doesn't mean he can't putt on bent grass greens. You just you just say that, and because he's recently hasn't putt well on bent grass greens.
Recently, I'm talking about the last 100 rounds. I'm not talking about like the last 12 rounds. I'm talking about the last 100. That's a lot. That's a big sample size.
I don't care. He's got a good history here. He's played well on this course, and he is a guy that here's the thing. You play Bubba Watson on courses that he is comfortable on and that he plays well on.
Not at $10,000. Not at $10,000.
Time and time again on the Travelers, at the Masters, at whatever else. You look at it, he's made the last 5 cuts here. His worst finish was a T70 in 2017. But he had a T13 last year, T13 in 2015, T16 in 2014, top 30 in 2013. I think that Bubba Watson is a great play this week, and I think you're going to get him in a little bit lower ownership, and he can putt on these greens. I don't care what stat you're looking at. I really don't. I don't care. I think he can putt well on these greens. They're undulating. He loves that. He loves to work the ball off the tee, which you got to do here. You don't have to hit fairways here, which is a good thing for Bubba, because he doesn't have to work. The fairways are extremely wide. There's no trouble off the fairways for him. I feel like Bubba is a great play at $10,000. So play him. Listen to me.
Okay.
Don't.
That was enough about Bubba. What you got? Anything else?
I don't, because we didn't have a ton of disagreement on the show.
All right, I got one more guy that I got to hit you with because I don't understand this one. And okay, I think at $8,600, you chose to fade Kevin Streelman. Now,
yes,
you
fade that.
You probably chose to fade Kevin Streelman because he's played here 3 times in the last 5 years, and he's got a miscut, he's got a 29th, and he's got a 77th place finish. Not fantastic. He's also missed his last 2 cuts. But he's also a pretty good ball striker, accurate kind of player, doesn't miss a lot of fairways, doesn't miss a lot of greens, plays well on courses that don't necessarily cater to the bombers. I think Kevin Streelman actually has a significant amount of upside. Probably not gonna be super high owned. In 2019, we saw some top 10 finishes. Finished 4th at the Memorial, 6th at the Heritage, 6th at the Valero Texas Open, 7th at the AT&T. That's 4 top 10s in 2019. That's more than you could say about a lot of players. So I think Kevin Streelman has a little bit of upside.
David, do you know about golf?
Do I know about golf? Yeah, I think I know about.
Do you understand that golf is something
golf.
that things like come and go as ebbs and flows, and things like you don't play well sometimes, you play well. Like a lot of the thing about golf is recent form.
David,
okay?
Do you know about golf?
And Kevin Streelman is not in good recent
dude. He hasn't played in a few weeks. You haven't been watching him at his home course.
His last 3 starts, he missed the cut at the Northern Trust, the Wyndham, and it was T57 at the Open Championship, which I can't even believe he got in. The Northern Trust was
6 weeks ago. The Wyndham was 7 weeks ago.
It doesn't matter. He's still not in good form. He's not in good form. He sucked at this event. He missed the cut last year. Yeah, he had a top 30 in 2017, but he was 77th. He barely missed the MDF in 2015. Thank God for no MDF anymore. But here's the thing. Kevin Streelman's just a guy that everybody likes to take. Everybody loves him in these weak field events. And I'm not taking him. Not taking the bait on some Kevin Streelman. I don't like him.
You can't.
And I think he'll be high owned. For one,
he won't be high owned. He's not going to be high owned.
Yeah, I think he will.
No, he's not. And this is the part of the season where recent form is tough. It's misleading. It's hard to judge. I think you look at.
I would rather just go with a lot of these new KORN FERRY guys, the KORN guys. I would take them this week and screw Kevin Streelman.
You're going with the guys from KORN Hub.
Yeah, going with KORN Hub, and I'm screwing KORN Streelman.
Okay, all right. Well, I disagree. All right, let's talk about our DK Sportsbook plays of the week, Patrick. I got a feeling that your plays are going to be shorter odds than mine because you're a pansy. So let me see. Who are you betting?
You want the shorter odds guys first?
Huh?
You want the shorter odds guys first?
I want all your picks. Give me everything you got right now. Bring it.
Well, I think if the shortest odds, I love Joaquin Niemann at 30 to 1.
You actually said his name correctly. Amazing.
I like that bet at 30 to 1. I think that's a good bet. So I'm okay with
Same.
that.
Like
I
it.
also like Sung JM, another guy at 30-1. He's gonna win a tournament.
Love
it's
it.
Gotta come. It has got to come.
Well, I mean, it's
eventually.
simple math, right? If you play in every tournament, eventually you're probably going to win one. So that's what Sung Jae does.
That is true, because he does just play in absolutely every single tournament. So if you're going out longer, I think David Hearn at 90-1. I think at decent odds there.
Careful, you're approaching triple digits.
Sorry, David Hearn though. I like it 90-1. He played well to end the season, to get himself back on tour. I like that. Also like Henrik Norlander at 90-1. Another guy that I think is just a fantastic player, back on tour this year. And then going longer odds, I think I'm going to go with I'm going to give you one more. I'm going to go with Sam Burns at 175-1. I think that's just way too long for Sam Burns. So there you go. That's my bets.
Let me comment on the Norlander and Sam Burns pick. I don't like the Norlander number in terms of a sports book, but I do like Norlander on DraftKings. I think his value is better on DraftKings. If you've been playing DraftKings since the early days like we have, you remember Norlander as quite the ball striker. Can't putt to save his life, but quite the ball striker. Therefore, tends to make some cuts. He's cheap on DraftKings. I like him there. I don't know that I like those odds to win. In terms of Sam Burns, I actually have him listed here. I was going to mention him as a top 20 bet. He is 7-1 at a top 20 number. I think that's absurd. Sam Burns is one of the more talented players in this field. He's contended to win in PGA Tour events. I think your number there, the outright number, is also too large. I think you bet Sam Burns outright. I think you bet him to finish top 20. And I think you play him in DraftKings in terms of DFS. Like that play. Another top 20 bet while I'm on it is going to be Peter Malnati at 10-1 top 20. The Greenbrier rewards good putters. Everybody's in the fairway for the most part. You got extremely wide fairways. You got to hit it close. You got to make some putts. Peter Malnati, one of the best putters on the PGA Tour, 11th in strokes gained putting on bent grass over the last 100 rounds. Now, we get to my outright bets of the week to win. I'm going to start the shortest odds guy that I have, unlike Pat, who's a pansy, is Denny McCarthy at 80-1. Denny McCarthy, an extremely good putter, 9th in strokes gained putting on bent grass. He's played well on the PGA Tour, retained his tour card this season, coming off web.com last year. Good player is Denny McCarthy. I like him a lot at 80-1. And then down in the depths, I like three guys. One guy is a guy who just makes me sick to my stomach to even talk about, but he's been playing really well, and that's Roger Sloan. He's at 200-1. We talked about him on the podcast. Roger Sloan, I believe, has been hypnotized by a hypnotist on some sort of Carnival cruise line, and now he believes that he is like 2016 Zach Johnson. So he's I don't know what he's doing, but he's 200-1, and God knows what could happen. I just want to be on it. And then the last two are two KORN FERRY boys making their debut on the PGA Tour, and that is ROBBY SHELTON, Alabama product, won the SEC Player of the Year, was the second on the Order of Merit on the McKenzie Tour in 2017, got his tour card easily this past year on the KORN FERRY, including 2 wins, 5 top 10s, big-time ball striker, big-time putter, played for Alabama, 225-1 on DK Sportsbook, ROBBY SHELTON. Remember, what did I say at the beginning of this show? 3 of the last 5 winners have been at 100-1 or longer. It's a big deal. Finally, I'm going to give you another Oklahoma State grad, Mr. Christopher Ventura, at 250-1. Ventura is an absolute stud. Played on the same team with Victor Hovland, Matthew Wolff, who everybody's nutting up about. Wolff's already won on the PGA Tour. Hovland's a close favorite this week. Well, Ventura was right there with him, okay? Playing at Oklahoma State. He played at 9 events on the KORN FERRY Tour. Guess how many he won? 2 of them. That's a pretty good freaking ratio, okay? He's a bomber. He hits it a long way. He's a 3-time All-American, 250-1. Played well at the finals. I like Christopher Ventura. Those are my bets.
I like it. Okay, good.
All right, buddy. There it is. We will be back every single week of the PGA Tour season in the fall. We've got about 9 or 10 events going up through Thanksgiving week, and then we'll take a break. We'll be back with you in January, hopefully, as long as DraftKings doesn't cancel us. TJ After Dark, give us a thumbs up. Give us a little subscribe. That would be nice if you subscribe to the DraftKings channel. Give us a thumbs up. Tell us that you like what we're doing. And, may your screens be green. May you hit some bets. Thanks for watching TJ After Dark. See ya!